As a woman, to be honest, the thing I'm most worried about right now is that I might run out of water and electricity. In just a month, it will be my 39th birthday, and I really don't know what to do. In another year, I'll be turning 40. I haven't made enough money. I want to do IVF, but it's too expensive and I can't afford it. I want to find a husband, but there isn't anyone quite right. Some are suitable, but their financial situation is too poor. I've met men who have good conditions, but they're just not the type I like. I'm really frustrated right now. Honestly, I'm not as anxious about marriage as I am about having children. Because there's still time for marriage, I can still hope and gradually meet the right person, but when it comes to having children, it's really causing me a lot of anxiety. I'm so bothered by it every day. If I had money in my pocket, it would be great. I would just go ahead and do IVF. But I don't have money, and now I'm so anxious that I can't sleep at night, just lying there, tossing and turning, feeling anxious all night. My friends around me are also advising me to hurry up and find a man to get married and have children. It's urgent. But I really can't just settle for anyone. If I meet a man I'm not satisfied with, I really don't want to force myself. What should I do?
为什么我
I am 42 years old this year, have a bachelor's degree, an annual salary of 500,000 yuan, and a house worth over 1 million yuan. Why am I still unable to find a husband? I don't even dare to go out now, it's so embarrassing. I have no husband, not even a child, I have nothing, I am all alone. I've been on 100 blind dates, so why can't I find the right person? My conditions are clearly good, my looks are decent, I have a good figure, I'm good looking. My education and family background surpass 95% of women in China, so why is it that no one is interested in me? Why doesn't anyone want to marry me? What is wrong with me? I really don't understand. High education, good conditions, decent looks, why can't I find someone to marry? Now I don't even dare to go out, it's so embarrassing, everywhere I go I'm alone. It's so difficult. A few years ago I had many friends who accompanied me, but now most of them are married with children, and I have nothing, I'm all alone going out, often ridiculed. The societal pressure is suffocating, and the psychological burden is growing, leading me to anxiety and depression. I really don't understand, is it my problem, or is it society's problem? Why am I so beautiful, yet at 40 plus I still haven't found a husband? Why are men rejecting me on blind dates? It's so hard, do I need to get plastic surgery? Is there something wrong with my looks? My eyes, nose, figure, what's wrong? I really think I'm pretty good. Back when I was in school, I was the class beauty. Why can't I find a husband now? Why can't I get married? What went wrong? Although I'm over 40, my hair isn't white, my body is fine, I'm 1.6 meters tall, I have a bachelor's degree, and I earn 500,000 yuan a year. Why does no one want me? Why have I been rejected 100 times on blind dates? I ask them why, but no one tells me. I'm so anxious. What is the reason? I've been to the hospital for a checkup, and my health is completely fine, my fertility is intact. What are these men rejecting me for? It's so hard, what should I do for the second half of my life? I'm only in my 40s, I'm halfway through my life, how should I live the rest of my life? Thinking about it makes me want to cry, although now many people choose not to marry or have children, I'm different. I'm from Guangxi, and my family has always hoped that we would have at least 3 children. I also want to get married and have children, but with whom? My biggest wish now is to get married and have children, ideally 3. Is it my problem, or is it society's problem? Why have I failed 100 times on blind dates? Why is it so hard? Men's standards have changed so much, how did they become so picky? Who can tell me what to do? Everyone has the right to choose, the right to pursue happiness. Why can't I? Although marriage and dating views are different now, with many people choosing not to marry or have children, I really regret not marrying when I was 20.
最近这段时间也没有人给我介绍相亲对象呢。
Recently, no one has introduced any potential matches to me, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm too outstanding and no one is good enough for me. After turning 30, finding a partner has become increasingly difficult. I'm already 35 this year and I suddenly have a very ominous feeling. I think I might never get married in this life. Am I really that bad? I don't think I'm ugly and my personality is also quite good. Why is it so hard to find a partner? The more I think about it, the more puzzled I get.
When I think about this, I feel especially regretful. Right now, I'm really stressed and can't sleep at night. My family keeps urging me every day. I'm extremely anxious, and each year I feel more and more desperate. I don't know what today's men are thinking. Do they really dislike older single women? If that's the case, I really start to miss my exes and my previous blind date matches. I remember when I was in my 20s, the matchmakers introduced me to men who were considered high quality, either rich or from well-off families. Why didn't I see their value back then? Now, thinking about it, I regret it so much. I really don't want to talk about it anymore. The men I didn't value back then have all gotten married, some even with 2 or 3 children. Now, I regret not getting married earlier. It's getting harder and harder to get married now, and now the men introduced to me by matchmakers are not what I would consider high quality, but at least they aren't bad. Almost all the introductions are for unsuitable men, and I don't even want to look at them. I feel absolutely nothing. Sigh, if nothing works out, I'll just randomly pick a man to marry, even if he's divorced with kids. I'll just compromise. Right now, I'm not even in the mood to shoot videos, because even if I do, I can't find a suitable man. Now, I just hope to find a decent, obedient man. I don't care about anything else. I hope to find my ideal partner soon.
我今年30多岁，快40岁了，就从来都没有想到。
I am in my 30s, almost 40 years old, and I never imagined that by this age, I would have nothing, achieved nothing, and not even have a husband or children. Sigh, I'm almost 40, it feels like half of me is already buried. Sometimes I think that living alone isn't so bad, but deep down, I still want to find an ideal partner. If I had to pick something I regret in life, I think the biggest regret is when, in my 20s, there was a guy who pursued me for about 3 years. I actually pushed him away. Looking back now, I really feel like I didn't have the foresight. The guy was 1.8 meters tall, really handsome, but the only downside was that his family was poor. At that time, my parents didn't approve, and I listened to them, which has now become a regret in my life. Now, I can't even find a normal boyfriend. I guess I'll just go with the flow and let nature take its course. A naive girl like me probably won't end up alone in a nursing home, right? That would be too lonely and sad. So, I still hope that before I turn 40, I can get married and have children. This might be my biggest dream and goal now.
30多岁了，真的是特别后悔没有早点结婚生孩子啊。
I'm in my 30s now, and I really regret not getting married and having kids earlier. My health keeps getting worse year after year, and I really can't deny that I'm getting older. In the past, those guys always told me, "You're an old leftover woman, you're out of service, you're an elderly pregnant woman." And I used to argue with them. But my body doesn't lie. Since I passed my 35th birthday last year, I've been constantly dealing with various health problems. I'm really scared. What if one day I finally get married and have a child, and when I go into labor, the doctor asks me whether to save the mother or the baby? I'm not exaggerating, because recently a 42-year-old female internet celebrity, who was pregnant with twins, passed away during a difficult delivery. Now I really envy those women in their early 20s who get married and have children early. They recover so well after giving birth, they look much younger than me, and they don't even get spots on their faces. Regret really doesn't help. I hope everyone can take me as a warning.
How to break through the dilemma of being an older leftover woman. I believe that during your single years, you must cherish this time. I suggest focusing on entrepreneurship and working hard to make money. If the pressure from the environment around you is too much and public opinion makes you anxious, the first thing is to lower your standards for choosing a partner, and secondly, to increase your personal value. Because you are competing with younger girls in their 20s and 30s, if you don't have enough competitiveness, to put it bluntly, you must have financial stability, and your job must be stable. The most important thing is that you must make yourself valuable. Finally, expand your social circle and attend more social events. Only by doing so can you break through the current situation and embrace a better future. Do you agree with my point of view? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. I look forward to hearing from you. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video.